When you start trying to conceive and nothing is working, some of us, guilty as charged, go down a bit of a rabbit hole and start searching for answers anywhere and everywhere. Sometimes we stumble upon the fact that maybe our lining's too thick or maybe we have low progesterone, and that is the reason why we're not conceiving. If that thought has been crossing your mind and haunting you lately, then don't worry, sis, I got you. In today's video, we're going to dive into everything uterine lining, understanding what makes it healthy, what makes it juicy, and how to create a step-by-step plan so that you can naturally get the perfect lining for implantation. Let's go. Oh, your uterine lining. Sis, your lining. It's so interesting when we start diving into trying to conceive, the amount of things that we learn about our body that we didn't really know. Your uterine lining isn't just a passive structure that we hope the embryo sticks to. It is an active, living, breathing, growing structure that adapts to what is happening in your environment, in your body, and when you conceive. Your uterine lining, sis, is a blood-rich tissue that needs the proper circulation, nutrients, and hormones to develop properly. If any of those things are off, sis, your egg's ability to implant can be affected. Think of it as a big, fluffy blanket that is used to wrap around your embryo. The cozier and thicker it is, the more it can support the embryo to grow and flourish. And if it's too thin, sis, your embryo will struggle to attach. That's why understanding your uterine lining and what is going on with your body is so important to bringing your baby home. So how do you know if your uterine lining is thick and juicy enough without doing ultrasound or IVF to check it? Well, your body is giving you clues all the time. And here are some of the things it's saying. Your uterine lining might be too thin if you have short or light periods, especially that last less than 2 days. You're spotting right before your period starts. You have reoccurring implantation failure or chemical pregnancies. History of D&C or uterine procedures. So what does a healthy uterine lining look like? Well, typically we want your uterine lining to be 8 to 12 millimeters, but that can only be seen when you're doing an ultrasound or in a fertility clinic where they're monitoring your lining. If you're not having an ultrasound or visiting a fertility clinic, there's still natural ways to know if your uterine lining is long enough. Understanding and looking for your period length, the type of flow you have, the quality of your blood can all tell you if your lining was thick enough that cycle. Many women notice small shifts, like their body is feeling warmer. Their period, the actual menstruation or bleeding of their period is a little bit longer and a little bit heavier at the beginning, tapers off towards the end, and most importantly, their cycle is a bit more regular. All of these can be signs that your uterine lining is thick enough and ready for implantation. Now, you can still see all those things and feel like your uterine lining isn't thick enough. Here's a step-by-step guide that can help you thicken up that lining. Now, even if you have all of the signs that your uterine lining is good, you can still implement these steps and it will just help you maintain a nice juicy lining. So here's what you can actually do to support your uterine lining. Number 1, blood flow is everything. Without circulation, without blood passing through that lining, it can struggle to thicken and get that nice triple layer we're looking for. So how do you boost blood flow to the uterus? Sis, when I say circulation and blood flow is everything to help your uterine lining get thick and juicy for embryo implantation, I am telling you, it is everything. And here's what I want you to do. You're going to start moving your body about 10 to 15 minutes daily, whether that's Pilates, yoga, stretching. We really just want to increase the heart rate so the blood circulates more. We want to try warmth, bringing warmth to the belly through fertility massage, through castor oil packs, or even just wrapping up in a blanket. Keeping the body warm is going to help with blood flow. Number 2 is eating lining boosting foods. Your uterine lining is full of blood vessels and tissues, and what you eat directly impacts that lining. Eating things like beets and pomegranate boosts nitric oxide and blood flow. Things like leafy greens, so spinach, kale, all have estrogen support. Eating healthy fats like avocado, nuts, seeds, and olive oil help with progesterone. And iron-rich foods like lentils, grass seeds, and meats top everything off and really help bringing nutrients to the blood vessels and tissues. And number 3 is to support that hormone balance. Sis, if I have said it once, I think I've said it a million times. Your hormone balance is absolutely everything when it comes to bringing that baby home. Your uterine lining is built on a delicate balance of estrogen and progesterone. And when that balance is off or it's out of sync, it can throw everything off, which means no implantation. Your lining just won't build properly, so therefore the embryo cannot implant. So what can you do right now to help with hormone balance for your lining? We can talk about seed cycling, limiting endocrine disruptors, and sis, it is time to reduce that stress. And number 4 is avoiding things that can damage your lining. See, number 1, 2, and 3 is all things that we need to implement, try, and do to help make the lining juicy. But you see, if you're putting in all this hard work, you don't want to be doing things on the flip side that are taking away from your lining. Things like excess coffee, low-fat diets, and smoking and alcohol all disrupt your lining and make it very hard for implantation. So that's great. We've got our step-by-step plan. When should we start implementing it in our cycle? Well, you want to focus on all of this during your follicular phase. But if I'm being honest, all of the things that I have suggested to help with your implantation will help you throughout your fertility journey. Balancing your hormones, getting rid of endocrine disruptors, decreasing your stress, all have an impact on every aspect on your ability to conceive. So I suggest you implement it now and just keep the ball rolling until you see those 2 pink lines. You and I, sis, we both know that you can do everything right, do everything perfectly, and your lining still not respond. Sometimes we have structural challenges like polyps, like fibroids, like endometriosis, which can all impact the lining and your egg's ability to implant. In those cases, you really want to be discussing a plan with your doctor to help improve the structure of the uterus and the uterine lining. And as a quick bonus, sis, inflammation can wreak havoc on your body. So if you get a minute, check out my inflammation and fertility video to see ways and steps to decrease inflammation in your body and really help your ability to implant. So here's a quick recap of what you should do if you feel like your uterine lining is the weak link in your ability to bring your baby home. Number 1 is to add the circulation boosting foods and daily movement. Number 2 is to start balancing those hormones. We want a nice balance between your estrogen and your progesterone. Number 3 is looking into keeping that abdominal area warm through fertility massage and castor oil packs. Number 4 is to throw away or avoid anything that could be impacting your lining, like too much caffeine. And number 5 is to track your period flow and spotting to see if there's been any subtle changes over time. Here's the truth. Your uterine lining is not set in stone. You have the ability to change it over time. Building a healthy, strong lining is super, super duper important for implantation, and it really could be a game changer in your cycle. And if you're tired of guessing, trying, and Googling your way through your ability to bring your baby home, then don't worry, sis. I got you. Come into the Heal to Conceive tribe, where I'm going to help you step by step uncover and unmask the missing pieces in your fertility journey so you can heal your body from the inside out and bring your baby home. Drop a comment and let me know below what food or habit are you going to implement so you can start to thicken that uterine lining. And I want you to remember that you are going to bring your baby home, sis. You've got this. And when you don't got this, I got you. Baby dust for all.